Hello, and welcome to Art 106 Renaissance through Modernism. In this beginning lecture, we are going to talk about expectations and requirements of the course, and you'll also learn how to navigate the different content areas within Blackboard. Also, you'll see here on the first screen is my name. I'm Dr. Jennifer A. Fraley, and here is my KCTCS email. This is the email you'll need to use to contact me. Please do not contact me through your personal email, and we'll talk about this a little bit later on. But to begin, I want you to think about expectations of the course and how we're going to run this course, whether it's fully online, in person, or hybrid, is we're going to run it on a weekly schedule. What this means is our week will begin at midnight on Monday and it will run through 11:59 p.m. on Sunday. Typically, a week will include reading all assigned materials, listening to any posted lectures, viewing any accompanying slides. If this is a hybrid class, it will involve meeting in person at least one day a week. If it's a fully in-person class, we will meet fully in person, but I usually will also post information for you on Blackboard. Usually you respond to a weekly discussion board post. Sometimes there are quizzes covering all materials. And you can see the syllabus and the calendar on the syllabus, which is typically the last 2 to 3 pages for the specific due dates. But almost always, all assignments will be due by the end of the week, meaning Sunday at 11:59 p.m. However, in most cases, these will open up on that Monday at midnight, so you could actually complete the work early if you would like to. Periodically, there are some other assignments. This varies from class to class, and these may include critical thinking essays, live performance attendance and review, a midterm exam, a final exam. This just depends on the course. So please see the syllabus for the specific details and due dates. And here you can see this is where you will find that weekly schedule on Blackboard. So you can see in my screenshot here where you see the third item says week number 1, 6/7 to 6/13. What will happen in this folder, it will have all of the materials you need for that week. Readings, lectures, the link to a weekly quiz, discussion boards, anything we were dealing with or anything that is due within that week. Now, a lot of times on Blackboard, if you have a quiz or something due, you will receive an email. That may not always be the case with discussion boards, so don't forget about them. But each week what will happen on that Monday at midnight, you'll see, so for next week it would say week number 2, 6/14 to whatever that Sunday's date is. So that's where you're going to access that weekly folder within the course content area on your Blackboard. So let's talk a little bit more about navigating Blackboard. If you have not signed into your Blackboard account, you need to do so immediately because no matter the format of the class, fully in person, online, or hybrid, we will be using Blackboard. Access to Blackboard is required. And so what we're going to do in the following slides is we're going to walk you through the different buttons displayed on your Blackboard screen and help you learn what these do. So what you're seeing here, this is what it's going to look like once you log on to Blackboard and go to our course. It'll automatically load up with what's called the course content screen. And here you can see where it says syllabus in a Unit 1 folder. The syllabus, as we'll say later, is exactly what it sounds like. This is where the link to the syllabus will be. But let's first start, if you look on the left of the screen under Details and Actions, we're going to start with these buttons. So what you have over here, these are the links on the left, and what you'll see is the following are roster, Blackboard Collaborate, attendance, groups, announcements, books and tools, and OneDrive. So these are all tools that can help you within the course. So what we have first, the roster, is exactly what it sounds like. Here you can view everyone in the course. So you can find out who your instructor is, which you'll also see that up on top with instructors, and who else is enrolled in your course. This is a great tool in case you want to maybe form study groups, get to know each other's names, things such as that. Next is Blackboard Collaborate. This is a tool where we can meet online. We can meet maybe the entire class together, or perhaps you and I want to have a one-on-one meeting, but we can't physically meet in person. This is where we can meet together. If you've ever used Zoom, it's a lot like that. If we do have a Blackboard Collaborate meeting, we'll go into more detail about that later. Attendance, this is where you can view your attendance. Now, this is only if your professor is keeping track of attendance through Blackboard. This is very handy in classes that have an attendance requirement, and you can go and see, how many absences you have. Next is the groups. This is where if your instructor puts you into groups, say you have a group project or they want a group discussion, this is where you access those specific groups. Again, if we do this in this course, we'll discuss it in more detail later. Announcements, this one is very important. This is how I communicate with you. So an example of this would be, say, in the winter, campus is closed or in class is canceled for some reason, I will send an announcement out. Now, you should also get an email from KCTCS saying what the announcement is, but here there's always a record of the announcement. So always make sure you check the announcements in your emails before leaving for campus in case something has come up. This is how I will communicate with you. Next are books and tools, and these are different tools and from both the course and the university. These are different tools that are there. I encourage you to look at them, kind of play around with them. Again, if we are using something very specific in this course, we will discuss it in more detail. And then finally is OneDrive. Through KCTCS, JCTC, you have a OneDrive account, and here is where you can link your OneDrive account to this class if you choose so. All right, moving on, next we have the navigation buttons. Now these are probably going to be the buttons that you use more than anything else. These buttons are located in the upper right-hand corner of your Blackboard screen. These include, starting left to right, course content, calendar, discussion, gradebook, and messages. So again, as I already mentioned, course content, this is probably going to be the area you use the most. This is going to contain pretty much what I call the meat of the course. Most everything will be here. From here, you can access all assignments, discussions, posted readings, and videos. Even if you can access them in a different way, as we'll see in discussions, it's going to be right here. And now, as I've already said, for our course, right, we're going to have the syllabus listed first, and you see in this image, I have Unit 1. Well, for us, what we do instead of units, we're going to have that weekly schedule. So you'll have week number 1 folder. You'll click on that. Everything for that week will be in there. Week number 2, that will be in there. And so again, the course content is going to be the meat of the course. And what you'll see within the folders will be what you need to complete for each week. Now, another very useful tool is the calendar tool. And you can see I've got in the upper right-hand corner what that image looks like. And calendar tool, it's pretty straightforward. And you can see on the calendar image where you see schedule and then due dates. Schedule is where you can go in, create your own schedule. But what I think is really, really handy for this course or any course is the due date button. So when I create an assignment, I put a specific due date on it. Again, for us, most of the time it's going to be by Sunday of that week by 11:59 p.m. But what you can do if you're like, oh, I don't really remember what I have, click on this due date button and you can see down here, right? You can see assignment 1 is due Saturday, June 12th, and then we've got test number 1 is due Sunday, June 13th. And so that gives you a quick little reminder of when these things are due. And any assignment that has been assigned with a due date will show up on this screen. So very, very useful tool. All right, next is what's called discussion, or what I call discussion boards. This will be a tool we'll probably be using a lot, especially in online and hybrid courses. Now what this is this is a tool that allows us to have a conversation with each other online. And what will happen for our purposes is I will assign some sort of post. In these discussions, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for you showing engagement with the work. Not just that you've read the material, but that you've read the material and thought about it and you have analyzed it, and then I want you to respond. So what will happen is you'll click on either the discussion, the prompt in the weekly folder, or you can just click on the little talk bubbles and that will take you directly to all the discussions. Again, you'll see my prompt and then you respond to it. Once you respond to it, sometimes you will then have to respond to other classmates' posts. Now, you will not be able to see any of your classmates' posts until you have put your discussion in there. So once you've submitted your discussion, then you can see the rest of your classmates' posts and you can respond. Now, what I highly recommend when you do the discussion boards, open up a discussion, read the prompt, and then open up your word processor, whether you use Pages, Word, Google Docs. And what I would do is I would type your discussion there first and then save it. And then you can just copy and paste it into the discussion. The reason I say that is because say you're working on Blackboard and you're typing your discussion directly in the discussion box, and then you walk away and Blackboard logs you out, well, you've lost the work you've just done. So I highly recommend do it in your word processor first, edit it there, save it, and then copy and paste it into. You can add it as an attachment into the discussion, but I prefer if you do copy and paste it directly into the text box, just for discussions, not for papers, which we'll talk about that later when papers come up. All right, next is Gradebook. This is a very important tool. All of your grades will be posted on Gradebook. Even if it's something you turn in like a physical paper in class, I will create an entry into Gradebook. It is your responsibility to be checking your grades throughout the semester. 3/4 through the semester, you shouldn't be like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I was failing, because these grades are going to be up there the entire time. Now, this is also very important because this is how, if we have any online quizzes, tests, the discussion boards, even online essays, this is also where you see my comments and the answers to it. So an example here, this is what the gradebook looks like. And you can see within this gradebook, we've got project 1. You can see the due date, the status, right? We don't really have anything. And there's the grade, blank out of 15. So for that one, actually nothing has been submitted yet. But look at assignment number 1. You can see the due date was 6/12 and there was a draft that was saved. And the grade, it's not graded yet. But then go down to test number 1. Its due date was 6/13 and you can see it says it's graded, and then over to the right you can see it says 8 out of 10. Now to actually see that test, you can click on your grade and it'll take you back to that test so you can see what you got right, what you got wrong, and any comments I make. And then the same is going to be for discussion board number 1. You can see it says the status is unopened and it's 0, it's a blank out of 15. When you see that dash, that means it's not graded yet. If it says a 0, that means for some reason you got a 0 on the assignment. And so anytime you have discussions, if you ever lose points on a discussion board post, I always make comments stating why you lost the points. If we turn in essays, papers on Blackboard, there will be a grading rubric where I make comments, but then I also comment on the essay itself. So you need to make sure you are going back to the essay, back to the discussion board, looking at my comments and the marks so you know how to improve your grade in the future. Okay? But again, Gradebook, very important. It is your responsibility to make sure you know what your grades are. Additionally, it's your responsibility to let me know if I've made a mistake. Sometimes I key in the grades, and I'm human too, and maybe we had a paper that you turned in, a physical copy in class, and you got a 95 on it, but your gradebook says a 5. You're going to want to make sure you let me know so I can get that corrected. If that happens, just send me an email, probably screenshot me where I wrote 95 on the paper, and I'll make sure I get that corrected. All right, and then finally in these tools is the messages. Messages, again, this is a great tool to use. The message button allows you to directly communicate with me and all members of the course. This is a great way that, say you know you're going to miss an in-class lecture and you want somebody to get the notes for you. Well, through the messages, you can directly email select people or all people in the course. Just remember, if you select all users, I am also one of those users. But this is a great and easy way to communicate with myself and with your classmates. All right, moving on. I've already mentioned this a couple times, but the syllabus. The syllabus is very, very important, and that is why it's going to be the first thing listed in the content area. The syllabus, this is a link to a PDF of the syllabus, and it will be up there the entire semester. Be sure to refer to the syllabus for all policies, descriptions of assignments, grade breakdowns, and due dates. I highly recommend printing out the course calendar, which again is usually the last 2 to 3 pages. That way you have it with you, and especially for a hybrid or an in-person class, if I need to make some changes to the calendar, you have it right there. But remember, the syllabus is literally your instruction manual before the course. So before you email me, ask me how many points something is worth, what's the policy on this, where do you find that? Read through the syllabus looking for it first. If you can't find it there, then feel free to email me, but please make sure you're looking at the syllabus. And then KCTCS email and Jefferson apps, we will be using the KCTCS email system to communicate in this course. This includes emails between individuals and groups and through me. So the messages button will take you there. If you please do not email me from your personal account. A lot of times if you email me from your personal account to the KCTCS email, it will go into my junk folder. For this course, we need to be communicating using the email account you got when you signed up with the school system. You will also need to be checking this email at least once a day. That is part of your responsibility in this course. And then the Jefferson Apps button, that's actually going to be under the Tools button, again on your Blackboard screen. So that's just a quick introduction into the course and the expectations. We'll go into more details about the syllabus in our first meeting, but please do take the time to review the syllabus now and take the time to familiarize yourself with Blackboard. Feel free to play around and explore. Remember, in an online and a hybrid course, and technically in an in-person course, it is your responsibility to ensure you know how to use the tool to complete all assignments. If you just send me, well, I didn't do the discussion because I didn't know how to use it, that's not an acceptable excuse. This is part of the responsibility you have taken on with taking this course. Now, if you ever have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out and email me. If we are a hybrid or in-person class, or even if we're an online class and we're in the same town, we can schedule a face-to-face meeting in person, or we can schedule something through Blackboard Collaborate. If you have any questions, let me know, and I look forward to meeting all of you this semester.